This is not a good story for a lot of us. If you are the worker, if you're the person that is responsible for doing Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, decorating the house, or if you're the person that's responsible for decorating the yard, or you're the fix-it person for your family, this doesn't sit well, because it sure feels like Jesus is in the situation going, Mary is good, Martha is bad. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's what's going on. And if you dig into this with that attitude, you just end up seeming to be at dead ends all the time. I think the better way to look at this story is to look at it just from Martha's point of view. And maybe you'll see that the issue is incorrect assumptions. So Martha has invited Jesus to dinner. Oh, Jesus is a big deal. And so Martha, as you might expect, wants to do this upright. And if you look closely at the wording of different things that are said, you pick up words like all the serving. You pick up words like burden. Martha is burdened by all that she has done, needs to do. You get the impression that what Martha is doing is she wants to put on, as we might say, a good spread for Jesus. She wants to make an impression. She wants to honor him, maybe. And so the best thing I can do to put this in your mind, picture that what Martha is trying to do is she's trying to do Thanksgiving dinner. So she is cooking probably more food than she needs. She has got out what would be the equivalent for us of like the best silver and the best china and the best glasses. And some of that stuff, as you know, the silver needs to be polished and everything needs to be washed and you need to decorate and all those sort of things. She's got to do all this stuff because it matters. That's Jesus that's in my house. I need to do it upright. But the question is, does she? Does she? If Martha had simply set another plate at another place at the table, cooked a little extra food, and gone in and sat down with everyone else, do you think Jesus would have been upset? Do you think Jesus gets to the table and looks and goes, this is it? I get the impression that if Martha had put a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter on the table, that Jesus would have been, oh, this would be lovely, thanks. In other words, I think Martha just assumes the wrong, she makes an assumption that's incorrect, the assumption that I have to do all this stuff. That it is required somehow, and it's not. But she, for whatever reasons, got it in her head. And notice what it does to her. She gets anxious. It's a lot of stuff. She's doing it by herself. Suddenly, she starts to feel put upon and like, oh, I'm the only one doing the work. And now a little bit of jealousy comes in. If she's overhearing the conversation, maybe she's thinking, well, I'd love to go listen to that, but I can't. I have to do all this serving. But she doesn't, and all it does is give her a disquieted spirit. If you want to compare Martha with Mary, it just be compare their spirits. Mary is in a position where she is calm and she's open to the Lord, and Martha is not. So what about you and I? How does this apply to us? Let me start with one example which I'm pretty sure none of you will like. But I'll just remind you I'm a bachelor. Maybe that'll help you with this. Think weddings. Think weddings. Is it not possible that most weddings, hopefully not all, but is it not possible that most weddings are full of assumptions that aren't actually accurate? That there is this thing where it's like, it's my only daughter, we have to do this upright. And so we have to do all these things. Do you? I mean, really, do you expect people, do you expect your guests to come who you've invited to celebrate this wedding? Do you expect that they are really going to sit down at your reception? Or maybe, just as happened at my parents', the reception was mince and punch and the cake. That was it. I mean, do you think people walk in at that point and go, well, this is it? What happened to the free bar? Because I don't know, but I'm thinking that somebody who came to the reception for the free bar probably isn't somebody that maybe is like a good friend, because your good friends are going to want to celebrate the wedding. So I don't know. Like I said, I suspect most of you are thinking, he's nuts. Like he has spent a week in the mountains and it mattered. And I appreciate that, but I will tell you I'm right about this. To some extent or another, what we do is we get caught up in this idea, I have to do this. Generally, it comes from society. You go to a bunch of weddings. All the weddings look this way. Mine's got to look like that one. It doesn't. And if you think about it, then how that plays out in smaller things in our lives, things that we are expected or we feel like we're expected to do. You know, parents, one of the things that you can easily get caught up in is overscheduling your kids. I don't want them to miss out. I want to do the best for them. I want them to have things that I did not have. Those are wonderful motivations, but you do realize that at times where it goes, it ends up you become Martha. You are anxious because I got all this stuff that's got to get done. I got to get the kids to all these different places. Do you? That's what I think what Jesus is saying to Martha. It's not, hey, this is really nice what you're doing, but it's not really necessary, and there's something better going on that would be better for you. I will tell you this, it is way easier for me to talk about this than it is for many of you to hear it. I struggle with this in my own life in different sort of ways, especially in parish life. It's really easy to get caught up in other things, basically get caught up in things that we think that are important that they're not. And so really this is just the stories that challenged us to be careful about our assumptions, especially when we notice that what our assumption has done is led us to a place where we're all anxious and worried. Then something's wrong. Probably a decision we made before. And we just need to go back and change. I don't know what Martha did in this story. What she should have done is just look at Jesus and say, oh, yeah, I guess some of this doesn't really matter. And then just sit down with Jesus. And so if you find yourself in a situation like this, that's my advice to you. Just realize that what you were doing probably had great motives. You probably were like, no, this is important. I need to do this. But suddenly you realize, well, maybe it wasn't all that important. In which case you say, okay, fine. Let me just go and sit down with Jesus and do it differently.